What's going on, guys? Mark here from Labyrinth Studios, back again with another reaction video for you. Today I'm joined by Max, who runs the studio with me.
What's up?
So yeah, we're doing a reaction to Red Hot Chili Peppers, their new single Black Summer, off their forthcoming album Unlimited Love. So this is quite an interesting, well-anticipated album because it marks the return of John Frusciante, who is their sort of longest standing, most famous guitarist. He was replaced by the guitarist Josh Klinghoffer after their album Stadium Arcadium, for their albums I'm With You and The Getaway. Yeah, John Frusciante has now returned to the fold. I know a lot of people have been really excited for this new music, this new single. I've certainly been interested to see. As a long-term fan of the Chili Peppers, particularly when I was a teenager, I was a huge Frusciante nerd, so yeah, I was quite excited to see what their new music would be like. Yeah, I have heard the single twice already, so this isn't a fresh reaction for me. But Max, you've not heard the single yet, have you?
Nope.
So yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Cool. All right, you ready to check this out, Max?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. This is Black Summer by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
In a desert, somewhere in Nevada.
The skies refuse to cry. Cremation takes its piece of your supply. A sailor spoke too soon, and China's on the dark side of the moon. Platypus are few, the secret life of Rue, a personality I never knew. Did it all.
Seeing as you're hearing this for the first time, Max, any thoughts?
It is quintessentially the Chili Peppers. As soon as the drums come in, you're like, yeah, I know this is the Chili's. You know, it's characteristic of their sound. Quite like the strummed guitar tone on it, nice and floaty. Still very obviously a Chili Peppers song.
yeah. Guitar tone wise, you know, you can tell that it's John Frusciante back in the fold, very much his kind of guitar sound. And I agree. I think, yeah, it's very quintessentially the Chili Peppers, maybe sort of a little too comfortably so. Yeah, there's a lot to like. Really nice guitar tones. Chad Smith on the drums, great drummer. Again, a little too sort of he lays into the groove really well and sort of creates a great groundwork for the bass and guitar, but it's definitely not his most interesting work, at least so far. It does feel a little comfortable in a good way, and also I want a little more. But who knows, with the album that's to come, this might be sort of quite a safe introduction, if you will, to the rest of the album. Who knows? With the music video, I can't quite tell. Obviously, you know, we're not going to comment too much on the music video, but yeah, all the green screen stuff going on, I can't quite tell like how much it's meant to be serious, how much it's meant to be silly. Like,
yeah, maybe a little Karate Kid shout out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Anthony Kiedis is rocking that moustache.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Well, yeah, I was saying to you before with his moustache, his father, Blackie, apparently, you know, when his father passed away, it's kind of a tribute to him because his father had the same moustache. I'm sure he said in interviews that's, you know, he's never going to shave it off now. That's
right.
It's a permanent feature. Yeah, they're all looking good for guys, and I'm not sure. I think they're all like in their 60s now, apart from John Frusciante. John Frusciante is a bit younger, I think late 40s, early 50s maybe. Some of the vocal delivery is a little intriguing with the inflections.
Yeah, I was thinking that actually. I think it was Sailor that he said it a bit strange, so it didn't sound like Anthony.
Yeah, Sailor, a man. There was a line about Dark Side of the Moon. I'm not sure whether there's anything behind that or not, or Yeah, it's an interesting artistic choice. Not quite sure, haven't quite made my mind up yet on whether I like it or not. Yeah, shall we dive back in?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
The archers on the run.
Archers as well.
And no one
Archers.
stands alone behind the sun.
Shirts off, that's when you know it's getting serious.
It's been a long time since I've been a long time.
Definite Jamiroquai vibes from Anthony there.
Waiting on
Yeah.
another black summer to wear. Back the flaming wheel.
That's a great solo. Really, really nice tone there, I think.
Lovely tone. I kind of feel like the first like 2/3 of it were again like very safe.
It is,
Like, as
yeah.
soon as that downward crescendo comes in, like it's amazing.
Mm.
But up until that point, it's a bit like.
Yeah, no, because it kind of, it follows like the main vocal melody a lot, doesn't it? And it's definitely a more melodic, like less shreddy kind of solo, which is more of a kind of thing I like anyway. Again, it's definitely like this whole song, it feels like nothing I've not heard from them before. It is kind of a little bit like Red Hot Chili Peppers by numbers kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe not quite the triumphant return of John Frusciante. Like,
Yeah. I definitely feel like I was hoping for a little more. At the same time, I do wonder if this is kind of just a sort of a safe return, like testing the waters, kind of like, hey guys, we're here, we're back, John Frusciante's back, and then they're kind of going to ramp it up a bit more with the singles that will follow on from this.
yeah, I guess at the same time though, if you're the Chili Peppers, you've got a winning formula. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially, they've been going, God knows, like 40 years at least, a long, long time. So far, I know I've heard this song before, but for me, the standout definitely is the guitar solo there. It just fits the song well, I think. Does play it safe, but it's just tonally. It's a really nice tone there, I think. And some nice stuff going on. The little bend right towards the end of the solo was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite what you would expect.
The sort of tremolo effect comes in as well.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, definitely. Let's check out the rest of the song.
A sailing on a censorship,
Center.
riding on a headless horse to make the trip.
It's got to be intentional,
bit
the
of
accent thing.
Cheeky delay, that's new.
Long time since I made a new friend, waiting on another black summer to wear. It's been a long time and you never know when. And I've been waiting on another black summer to
I have to say, there's stuff I don't like about the vocal production in this. The use of effects, because as far as I'm aware, this is another Rick Rubin production, who's sort of been a regular producer.
Sound like Rick Rubin, yeah.
It does. Overall, the production is, very Rick Rubin, but the vocally with the effects, they're more prominent usually than, at least with the Chili Peppers, his work with them in the past. Even the tracks that where there has been sort of quite prominent vocal delays or reverbs or whatever, like on Don't Forget Me on By the Way, there's quite a prominent delay on Anthony's vocal, but it's still his voice primarily on most of their records. It's very dry, very upfront, and the effects, even when they are sort of more leading in the arrangement. They're still pushed back a bit, whereas things felt a little more
forward.
Yeah, a little more wet with the use of the effects in this.
Especially that break before they drop in with the final chorus there. Like that was quite nice, actually. I think that's probably my favourite part of the song. I think maybe even because it's not necessarily what you'd expect from the Chili's.
Yeah, one of the more sort of refreshing aspects of the song is production-wise, the vocal production and the effects going on and stuff. It isn't quite what I've heard before from them as a band. The track still has that kind of raw energy that, that they have as a band. It captures that quite nicely, I think. It's a little more slick maybe in the production. There's still, by the way, that was a very sort of slick sounding album in terms of its production, but typically, their sound is quite raw, quite dry sounding. On the vocals, to me, there's quite a lot of weird artifacting going on with what I assume is some melodyning, some pitch correction going on with his vocal.
I didn't immediately click to it being that, but I definitely heard something strange going on.
This is the third time I've heard the song now, and on the second listen, when I listened to it last night, I started picking up on it more, because the first listen I was kind of just like, obviously you're taking in everything else with the song, but, I kind of twigged. I was like, oh, there's something a little strange going on here. Yeah, there's some... I mean, it surprises me the amount of records, with successful bands or artists where you hear weird things like that, where you would think surely with the money and the resources they have, they wouldn't have those kind of issues, but I guess not. A lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers stuff, particularly albums like Blood Sugar Sex Magic, where Anthony's vocal, I know a lot of that was recorded with an SM7B. More dynamic mics, whereas this was a little more, sounded like it'd been recorded with a large diaphragm condenser, probably a little more sort of brilliant.
It definitely sounded warmer, I feel, than what I'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like a U87 or something like that. Quite a rich sound, and a little more sparkly as well, I think, than a lot of their previous stuff, particularly Blood Sugar Sex Magic, which had a lot more of a drier, like slightly more muffled vocal sound, which either way I think works well for his voice. But it's quite nice to hear his voice very at the forefront of the mix and the arrangement. Yeah, the drums mix wise was sounded like they'd been recorded at Cello Studios, which is Ocean. I think it was called Cello, and now it's like Ocean Way.
Ocean Way, yeah.
Ocean Way, yeah. Very, when you hear that kind of drum sound, that is the sound of that studio. Yeah, they must have at least tracked the drums there. Yeah, they sound good. It's a very very kind of hi-fi sound. Particularly the snare is quite hi-fi sounding. But it's a cool sound, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely, as I said earlier, as soon as that kick snare comes in, you instantly know it's the Chili's, but it's kind of cleaner than it has been in previous albums. Like tonally, it's all there, but it kind of sounds maybe a bit more polished than earlier albums.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I would definitely have liked to hear the drums, because the drums were very much just sort of holding the arrangement in this track. There wasn't anything particularly stand out about the drums, at least on kind of initial listens. I mean, part of what makes Chad Smith so good as a drummer is that he's very good at holding back and just kind of, it being more about the groove and the feel. But then he also is, because he's an excellent drummer. On One Hot Minute, that album, there's some excellent showcases of his drumming, where he does, there's some fantastic stuff on I'm With You, Brendan's Deaf Song. There's some great fills on that track. Really great showcase of his drumming. Obviously that doesn't have to be the case on every song, but I think just with it being a comeback single, kind of wanted something a little bigger. Maybe that's why it's a little, I wouldn't say disappointing to me. It's a good song, but it's certainly not their best.
It's definitely lacking something. I can't put my finger on it quite on the first listen, but there's definitely something missing that you as the listener would expect as like a return.
Yeah, absolutely. The standouts, you know, drums and bass, they're kind of fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, but there's nothing overly standout there. I think the real standouts of the song and the mix and the production and all of those kind of aspects for me would be what's going on with the guitar tones. There's some really nice kind of use of stereo imaging, particularly on the lead guitar parts. Some nice backing vocals as well, which were quite minimal, which is interesting, seeing as the last couple of albums with John Frusciante, backing vocals were a big part of a lot of the songs. They took a bit more of a back seat here, but they came in the right places. The vocal effects, like you said, it's just, how the vocal was kind of sitting in the mix was a particular standout, I think. I think our thoughts are probably generally a bit mixed. But I mean, if you were to give it a rating out of 10, what would you give it?
I guess, you know, in comparison to the earlier albums, it definitely doesn't quite hit the mark for me. So I'd probably say, I'll be generous and say a 7.
Oh, okay. 7. Yeah. See, I was going to go for a 6 because it's not quite, you know, completely average, like 5 out of 10. It's definitely not below, like, because it's not a bad song. For me, it's kind of, it's just slightly above average. So I think a 6 is kind of the right point for me.
I think I would have said 6, but that vocal delay fade out, I think it gets the extra point just for that. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I can go for that. Cool. So I hope you enjoyed our thoughts, our reaction to this song. Let us know in the comments what you think of the song. Did you think it was a return to form, or are you disappointed with the song? Let us know what you think, and what rating would you give the track? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's it from us. Give the video a like if you did enjoy it. If you give it a dislike, we can't see it now, so you can go ahead and do that. Give us all the hate you like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. That helps the channel out a bunch. And I've been Mark.
I've been Max.
And together we are
Labyrinth Studios.
All right. See you in the next one, guys.